in this tutorial we're just going to look at two very simple things. One is exporting frames from your video, which you can then use in some other program, say Encore, as a title, and also how to extract things from your timeline, which is another timeline editing tip. Okay, to extract a frame or take a frame or copy a frame to be able to use in another application, it's simply a case of using this button here, and you can see that there is a keyboard shortcut, Control-Shift-E, Command-Shift-E on a Mac, and you can see that you get the same one for both the program monitor and the source monitor. So if you find an item that you want to take out as a still image, you click the Extract Frame button, or you use the keyboard shortcut, and it says, okay, what do you want to call it? And I might call this my menu image, and then you can choose what format you want it to be. I might say choose a PNG and decide exactly where you want it to go. So I'm going to go Browse, and I'm going to stick it on my desktop, and I'm going to put it into my PP6 CS6 folder there, and I can click Select Folder, and it's ready to go into that folder, and simply click OK. Now when I actually go to that folder, if I actually navigate to that folder on my desktop, PP6, you can see that there's that menu image ready to go. And if you tab the Alt key on a PC, you can go to your view options, and you can actually go to, say, extra large icons, and you can actually see there's the actual image ready to go. So that's how we can take images that we can then use and import into other programs. If you are going to import it into, say, Encore, you probably want to bring it into Photoshop first and save it as a PSD, because Encore has historically always used PSDs for its menu images. So you'd import it into Photoshop, save it as a PSD, and then use that as your menu image inside of Encore for your DVD creation. But you might just want the still image anyway to bring into some other publication or some other work that you're doing. And it's a way of extracting still images very quickly from your timeline. Now the other thing to do is to be able to extract or get rid of bits and pieces in your timeline. Now in your timeline you also have the option for doing in and out points. So if I'm playing along and I think, well, you know what, I like these seagulls here, but I don't really need all of it. So for example, let's just hit my L button to push forward, and stop, K, hit I for in, and you can see that I've got an in point in my timeline. Hit L to play again, K to stop, hit O, I've now got an out point. And I'm just going to zoom in a bit so we can see that a bit closer. So there you go, we've got our in point and our out point in our timeline. Now what I can do is I can actually extract or get rid of that little section that's been selected. I can still dynamically trim it to get it absolutely perfect to the bit that I want to get rid of, and as soon as it's at that point I can then decide to use one of these buttons over here. As you see, you've got Lift and Extract. If we use Lift, which you can see you've got the semicolon key to get rid of, that will take it away and leave a hole, whereas if you use the Extract, which is using the hash key, that will actually take it away and close the hole up. So now that that's done, I can simply click Lift or use the semicolon key, and that's cut it out but left a hole in the middle. Whereas for Control Z to undo that, if I chose Extract, it's cut it out and closed the gap. So it's a way of getting into your timeline, choosing bits that you no longer want because they don't fit in with your project, they don't fit in with the work that you're doing, selecting them with an in points I and O in your timeline, and then simply when you've done your I and your O, then you can simply do a semicolon if you want to just extract it, Control Z to undo, or a hash if you actually want to get rid of it and close the gap.